We all think about the effect of books on our lives, but what if you could see those effects? The Fantastic Flying Books of Mr. Morris Lesmore is a picture book written and illustrated by William Joyce that shows in words and pictures the relationship that we can have with books when they are an important part of our lives. Morris Lesmore is the main character in the book. He is a young man who enjoys his words, loved words. He loved stories. He loved books. His life was a book of his own writing, one orderly page after another. He would open it every morning and write of his joys and sorrows, of all that he knew and everything that he hoped for. Despite Morris Lesmore's love for books, his book doesn't fly. There are only 3 other characters depicted in the book: a lady, a book, and a young girl. Morris does not meet anyone until Morris's life and his book, the one that he's writing, are scattered by tragedy. The book depicts this as a tornado or hurricane. William Joyce, the author, is from Louisiana and deeply felt the impact of Hurricane Katrina. He also lived through several personal tragedies in his own life and in the life of his friends. He couldn't paint for long periods of time due to eye surgeries when he was writing the story of the Fantastic Flying Books of Morris Lesmore. The book asks the question of where does Morris, or where do we go when our lives are scattered and disturbed? The answer for Morris comes when he is wandering and meets a woman. Who is flying through the air, pulled through the air by a festive squadron of books. The symbolism of the flying books is significant, indicating what effects good quality literature has on our lives. Morris is depicted as gray in the scenes with the woman, who is colorful in a bright blue sky. The symbolism works in a couple of ways. Morris's life has been scattered and he has faced tragedy and is wandering in a gray wilderness. The woman is being pulled aloft in a bright blue and sunny sky by the books. Morris sees the flying books and wonders about the book of his life that he has been writing. Morris wondered if his book could fly, but it couldn't. It would only fall to the ground with a depressing thud. The flying lady knew Morris simply needed a good story, so she sent him her favorite. The lady's favorite book leads Morris into a colorful landscape and a place where other flying books nest. The symbolism is shown again in the illustration where a gray Morris is entering a colorful building in a colorful landscape. As Morris enters the building where the books nest, the books want Morris to read them. They line up to be read, follow him around, rustle in the quiet. Morris can hear a chatter of thousands of different stories, and so Morris's life among the books began. The book depicts the life of a lifelong reader. The books of different genres mix themselves up, and Morris loves them all. He cares for the books with fragile bindings, torn or dog-eared pages, and gets lost for hours in the books. The Fantastic Flying Books of Morris Lesmore is written to the age level of 4 to 8-year-olds, but it has symbolic meaning for people of all ages. The Fantastic Flying Books of Morris Lesmore personifies books and gives readers a sense through the story and pictures that books are living things that want to be read and want to be in a relationship with us as readers. Morris's love for books leads him to share the books with others, which the books, of course, love as well. Morris says, "Everyone's story matters," returning to the symbolism of his own book, which didn't fly when he first tried, and the theme of everyone's life being like a book and everyone's life mattering. Morris continues to write in his own book. At the end of each day he spends with all of those books. As Joyce again writes, he, Morris, wrote of his joys and sorrows, of all that he knew and everything that he hoped for. Morris lives a long time with the books, until he grows old and has to leave. The books, particularly the young lady's favorite book that led Morris to the place where the books nest, are sad that he has to go. He leaves his books as a wrinkled, stooped old man, but when he leaves, he is carried up into the sky by a squadron of books, just like the young lady in the picture we saw before. The books Morris has left behind find that Morris left something behind as well, the book he had been writing. I won't spoil the ending, but a young girl comes across Morris's book. You can probably guess what Morris's book can now do that it couldn't do before. But a young girl finds it, and as Joyce writes, and so our story ends as it began, with the opening of a book.